the truth to be seen. I strive to attain the essence of humanity.
Video games' interactive nature and ability to span over hundreds of hours make them the perfect medium to express a multitude of ideas. Nier Automata is as much a love story as it is a video game about androids fighting machines and saving the Earth. After its successful release, it became known for its exciting and smooth gameplay, innovative storytelling, and the way in which Platinum Games and Yoko Taro melded them together. At the helm of the story are main characters 2B and 9S. Their relationship begins as one that's simplistic, yet enduring if not a little one-sided.
Hey, 2B?
Yes?
People who know me well usually call me Nines, so...
Oh.
So what do you think? I mean, if you want to call me Nines, it's totally okay.
I'm good.
Oh. Alright.
It's enough to carry you through the events, as 9S's emotional and cheerful nature makes for an interesting and occasionally humorous dynamic with the seemingly cold and mission-focused 2B. It's a relationship that takes work, mostly on the part of 9S, but that's what makes the payoff so great.
Watch out for hostile enemies, 2B.
Roger that, 9...
Huh? Wait, what did you just say?
Roger that, 9S.
Wait, no, that's not what you said. You said Nines. Or at least something close to.
Cut the chatter and engage the enemy.
Ah.
However, a relationship such as the one just described is common, if not a little cliched, in Japanese video games and anime. What elevates the relationship between 2B and 9S is the multifaceted depth of it revealed within the third part of the game. Much like Yoko Taro's previous games, Nier Automata doesn't end upon seeing the credits, but rather, it begins. The first credits you see mark roughly only a third of the game. Early into the third playthrough of the game, 2B is killed, as she lets out
Nines.
The scene is of importance for several reasons, marking the deterioration of 9S's mentality as he struggles with the death of the only other android he's truly known as a friend, while also conveying 2B's true emotions without a facade in her dying breath. It's an iconic moment, preluded with a painful struggle across the ruined city as 2B, culminating in the death of a character we thought we'd see through to the end. It's excellent game design and emotional storytelling. Killing off the character we just spent half our game time playing as emotionally impacts not only 9S, but also us, and in a way brings us closer to him. But this scene isn't what makes the relationship between 2B and 9S great. It's the fact that 2B has known 9S much longer than he has known her. The climax of Nier Automata reveals that 2B's actual model name is 2E, and that she was designed to execute 9S whenever he discovered the truth about humanity. It's implied throughout the game that this isn't 2B's first encounter with 9S, but rather that she's been killing him over and over again for some time now. 2B isn't cold towards 9S because she's unemotional or uncaring. She's cold because she cares. And for us, it changes her attitude towards 9S from something brash and stone cold to deceptively heartwarming. And this familiarity with him explains why she aims to stay so emotionally disconnected, yet reveals cracks of warmth when her guard is let down. Nuance in 2B's words and actions can be seen throughout the game upon replaying it after finishing the final ending. Not because they're added, but because of the way Nier Automata recontextualizes what we've already experienced.
There's no point trying to work out unsolvable problems.
And this nuance in words, carefully chosen to hint at the truth, yet hiding it in plain sight, is what makes 2B's journey such a bittersweet one. The scene of her death carries infinitely more heft upon this realization, and in that single word and in that single moment,
Nines.
it reflects just how closely 2B feels to 9S. All those stutters and reluctance at being asked to call him Nines before were just a facade that falls away in her final moments, a moment that details how fondly 2B thinks of 9S, her death a release from the cycle of having to kill him, a moment that details how attached 9S feels to 2B through his desperation and heartbreak at witnessing her body powered down. At first, I knew ending A was meant to be emotional, but I didn't really understand why it felt so drawn out, or why 2B was as emotional as she was. But upon watching it back, it makes perfect sense. This isn't just someone whom she spent a period of missions with. This is someone whom she spent multiple periods of missions with, developed a friendship with, and has had to kill over and over and restart her relationship with every single time. The whole scene is unrelentingly bitter, while the actions and movements of 2B are extremely intimate, even almost sexual in some ways as she strangles 9S. It speaks to the layered and often ambiguous nature of Drakengard and Nier games as a whole, as well as the relationship between 2B and 9S. At this point, this was already one of my favorite fictional relationships, but what propelled it to the #1 spot is the implication that 9S had already known that 2B was designed to be his killer before A2 told him, because it adds so much more emotional strain and nuance to an already complicated and hefty relationship. Examples of this are scattered throughout the game in moments which initially seemed odd but were easy to overlook, such as when 9S exclaims,
"2B! 2B! Don't worry, I'm going to kill you now!"
while fighting the 2B models in the final act, or even further back when Adam asks, while 9S was his captive. Our brains immediately jump to fuck, but kill is just as likely of a word if not more so. Adam wanted to envelop 9S in hate, and prodding at the insecurity that 9S might actually hate 2B for secretly being paired to kill him is a likely scenario. His affection towards 2B can be seen as a denial of this idea, resulting in his inner conflict of both loving and possibly hating 2B, both hating A2 for killing 2B, yet exclaiming,
"Don't worry, I'm going to kill you now!"
while fighting the 2B models. Yet despite all this, I still believe 9S ultimately yearns for her affection, as he places one of the 2B model's hand on its face in a moment of vulnerability and fatigue. The relationship between 2B and 9S is one filled with dissonance, complications and deceit, yet it's something that's wholesome and adoringly pure. Both characters are faced with the turmoil of their emotions in contrast to the nature of their relationship. 2B struggles with having to kill someone she's grown to love and care for over and over, while 9S struggles with the idea that the one he feels so affectionately for is his executioner, although I think this speaks to the resilience of their emotions for one another. The nuance conveyed in even the most seemingly innocent sentences by 2B, and the implied emotional strain of 9S make for unconventionally deep yet enlightening replay value. The bittersweet nature of the relationship is one that's hard to digest, yet it's one of the reasons that make Nier Automata one of my most cherished games to date. It's amazing how a video game that explores grand existential themes of futility, death, and existence can also hone in on the extremely personal and human ideas, through androids nonetheless.
None of us lie.